Welcome to Morning Message for November the 12th. It's been more than 3 decades since I lived in Toronto. But when I lived there, there was a burger joint. I think it was called the Fire Pit. If you remember that Saturday Night Live skit, cheeseburger, 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 Pepsi, no Coke. If you remember that, it was kind of like that. It was a place that still charbroiled their burgers. I was in there one afternoon just after the lunch hour, so the lunch hour rush had gone by. The fella in front of me ordered Slovakian fries. I ordered a cheeseburger and fries. My burger was ready before his Slovaki. And then an order of French fries was ready, and they went to put the French fries on my tray. But this guy objected. He thought those were his fries, and he wanted his fries now. So the upshot of that is that I was going to get a cold burger and hot fries, and he was going to get a hot Slovaki but cold fries. That's basically how things would have turned out, because he raised such a stink. I mean, the guy that was giving the fries was just trying to have us both get hot meals all the way through. And he kind of looked at me, but what could you do? I mean, this guy was really obnoxious about it and wanted his fries on his tray, and he waited for his Slovaki. He got his Slovaki and his fries, which were by now cold. And in the meantime, I noticed that my hamburger was no longer on the tray. What they had done was tossed my hamburger and made me a new one. So I actually ended up getting a hot cheeseburger and hot fries and a Pepsi. And that other guy went away with his cold fries. I tell that story because I think it's true that patience is a virtue. I showed some patience in the circumstance. I would have been happy, either way, whether I got a hot hamburger or not. It wouldn't really have mattered that much to me. But I just wanted to be patient in that circumstance, and as it turned out, it ended up much better than I had anticipated. In the face of a pandemic, it's really wise of us to try and accentuate that sense of patience in all of us. I know it's challenging. I know it's difficult. I know we don't like it. But when you think about it, when you look at what's happening in the world, when you look at those places that are effectively not dealing with it or didn't deal with it soon enough compared to those places that did try and deal with it, it's awfully easy to feel awfully lucky to be living in the Atlantic bubble, because there's not very many places in the world that are handling this pandemic as well as we are. And when it comes right down to it, it might be lucky that I'm living here, but our response to the pandemic has nothing to do with luck. It has everything to do with science. I got an email the other day from some guy who has absolutely no training in science, and he was doubting, our reaction as a province, as part of the Atlantic bubble, questioning the science, or at least questioning the scientists that are behind it, even though he has absolutely no scientific background himself. He felt he could question what they were doing. For me, the proof is in the pudding, isn't it? We are faring better. And sure, I could question this aspect of it or that aspect of it, but overall, we're faring really well, mostly due to the science, but also because of our patience. And great news over the last weekend, about the possibility of some vaccines that are highly effective. These will be rolled out when they get rolled out. Between now and then, We need to continue to be patient with ourselves, with one another, with the system, with the fact that there's a pandemic in the world, and it requires effort. It requires us to do things differently. It requires us to do what we can to try and keep one another safe. And so I know it's frustrating. I know there are people with absolutely no scientific background who are trying to question what the scientists are telling us, and yet in places where we have put the science ahead of those other things, those places, South Korea, is it New Zealand, the Atlantic bubble, northern Canada, we're faring pretty well in these places, mostly because of the science, but also because of our nature to be patient with ourselves and with one another. And I encourage that patience in all of us this day. And in the end, we'll get a hot burger and a hot fries and a cold Pepsi. I mean, things will turn out the way that we expect and hope them to turn out. God bless. Amen.